No, he won't play. He won't play there. He's moved well this week. He's sort of trained this week, but he won't play tomorrow.
What decision, what factors came into that decision?
Yeah, obviously just his recovery. He's been sort of, as I said, he trained on field yesterday and got through it quite well, but it's at that point that it just wasn't quite enough to have him play tomorrow night. So it means he gets obviously this weekend off, and then we've got the rep round, so he won't play there. So it'll give him 3 weeks there to get some recovery.
Just to clarify, is that so? Did he pass all of the necessary protocols with the clubs taking a cautious approach?
No, it's sort of look. They're not always black and white. They're a bit grey there. So yeah, he passed a lot of the protocols there, and then we obviously got to yesterday, and the decision was made not to play.
Yeah, it's a tough situation for Luke and also for the club as well, given the care the club's always taken with these kind of things. How's he doing, and how are you doing? Seeing that it must be tough as well.
Yeah, look, this happens weekly in our game, right? So we understand it, and it's part and parcel with our game, whether we like it or not. You know, we want to reduce it as much as possible, but it does happen, and then how we deal with it post concussion varies, depending on individuals. So what it's not in my hands, it's not in the club's hands, it's in the procedures and making sure that the steps are taken, that the players are feeling good enough every single time to pass to play, whether that's in a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. So it's not ideal, but it happens, a lot in our game, and we want to protect them as much as possible while still playing a physical game.
Welcome return for Sam Verrills in the spine. How's he been this week?
Yeah, good. He played half an hour with North Sydney last week, which was really good. That was a real positive for him to get back with the collarbone. So he got some time out there, and looking forward to getting that traditional hooker back on the field.
What kind of difference does it have?
He's a tradesman. He's played his whole life as a 9. So the skill and craft that he shows around that position is really key, and it's good to get him back in there.
What's the contingency plan for Carey then? I guess we'll see Drew Hutchison play at 5'8" and Sam at 7?
Yeah, I probably won't go into that. That's we don't have to go into that. There's obviously tactical bits there that there's a couple options that we can use.
And on a tactical level, how much do you take out having played the Eels relatively recently and obviously come up on top in that game?
Yeah, there's obviously recent knowledge. I think it was 4 weeks ago that we played them. So often systems don't change. The patterning of teams don't change within that period. And then it's about attacking the game with a mental attitude that takes the knowledge of the last game, but really goes after this game. We've sort of had a look at the block that we've been in the middle of, and this is the last game of that. And we're looking forward to, before we separate and go in some of the boys go on international duty and rep duty in different ways, we want to attack the game. So the knowledge of the last game is important, but then keeping it really clear and fresh and then going after this game as new.
And how vital is it in your season, given obviously there's a couple of more difficult games as well coming after when you get back onto the next block? So this could be quite a pivotal moment this weekend against one of your closest competitors.
Yeah, it's sort of, that stuff doesn't help you perform in the moment. That's true from an external point of view, and coaches have to look at that from a player's point of view. We've got a game tomorrow night, and you have belief that you're going to win every game. And our belief is tomorrow that we're going to attack the game in how we want it, and that's all that matters. All the other external stuff around that doesn't matter. I need to look at it, you need to look at it, but players, they need to stay really clearly focused on performance tomorrow.
Trent, Luke's obviously had a few head knocks over the years. Are you worried about his long-term playing future?
Yeah, this is a head coach standing up here, not a doctor. So that's not my, you're asking the wrong person on that. So yeah, that's not for me to go into. You deal with how he is right now. And he trained quite well yesterday and he's in good spirits. So I'm not concerned about, him being at home and not recovering from that. He's recovered quite quickly, but just not enough to play tomorrow.
It's an approach that the club's taken a bit in the past as well. Like you've just kind of said it there, but how hard is it as a head coach to just try and let these things play out and just support the player during this time as well?
No, it's pretty easy actually, as long as you know what your values are around it. So it's really simple. It's really simple. Let the process take its course and support the player. It's pretty simple.
Trent, do you think having seen guys like Boyd and Jake retire sort of after head knocks gives players here maybe more of an awareness of just how serious concussion is?
I don't know. I can't speak for that. That's not for me to speak of there. I think I think they want to know that they're cared for and they'll be cared for. And then there's enough research out there to say that it can have an effect, but also may not have an effect as well. There's differing beliefs there. So it's hard for a head coach to make those calls. You've got to have the right system in place and moral compass about the way that you handle it. But people have played a long period of time. We love our game and we want to keep playing it in that physical way. But also supporting the players to give them time to get back on the field.
And Jared's still not named this week. How's he going in his recovery?
He's pretty good. He had a good run yesterday. He got a fair bit of volume in that yesterday, so progress is going well, but obviously not enough to play.
And Eels this weekend, obviously they've bounced back pretty well when they've had a few disappointing losses throughout the season. How wary of you that it could be the same story this weekend?
That's not for us to concern ourselves with. It's our approach to the game. Understanding opposition and knowing how we want to play against them is really key, but we also get a say in the performance, so we want to dictate that as well.
It's a bit of a different note, but I know you've worked with Steve McNamara in the past, and there's a lot of coaching vacancies at the moment in the NRL. He's probably the most successful current Super League coach in terms of where he's gone from the bottom to the top. I certainly think he should be considered, particularly for the Warriors job, some Marcus and the Catalans. I spoke to Brian Smith this morning, he agrees with me. I wonder if you have any thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think Steve's shown his pedigree as a coach, both over here and then back in the Super League and also at international level with England. So, the form's there. If you want a young, hungry coach with form, then Steve Mack is definitely at that level to take on an NRL coaching job. It's just whether his desire to leave France is there and what his thoughts are on moving back to Australia or New Zealand. So I haven't spoken to him about those desires, but we speak often enough. I know he's a hungry coach.
Do you think there's something that maybe stops a guy like him getting him? And obviously you were at Catalans, Kevin Walters was as well, Mick Potter was as well, and there's something obviously Australians seem to do well there, but there's a barrier that people with my accent don't get.
No, it's as if you drink enough of that French wine, you'll eventually get an NRL coaching job. So Mac's done that as well, so I think he'll be right. No, I think the barrier is slightly cultural. I think there's some very, very good coaches in Super League, but because they're English, and to be honest, that not enough people watch Super League, and people don't value the coaching and the work that goes in over there. So they see it as taking a punt. Well, Mac played at a high level. He's coached at a high level. He's less of a punt than what I was. So, I think we definitely should be looking at those coaches.
Trent, there seems to be a lot of talk about the wing spots again for the Blues at the start of Origin next weekend. Tubes was outstanding in game one. Are you surprised that there's speculation over looking at those teams?
Oh, I don't think. I think it's pretty natural in a 3-game series that there's going to be speculation around after a loss in game one, so that creates interest. There wouldn't be speculation around Queensland, and there would be around New South Wales. But Toops was exceptional in that game. What he did carrying out of the backfield and the platform that he laid was high class. So they've got some decisions to make, but I think we all saw how he played in that game.
Billy Smith into the squad for former Roosters. What are you wanting Paul to work on potentially with the Bears this week?
Yeah, so Paul's, we bought him here for a reason, and we believe in the way that he plays. He's been with us as a junior, and we wanted to get him back. It's just he's been a little bit out of form on defensively, which is his strong suit. He's such a good defensive player, and it's just been a few weeks there of some mishaps there. So we believe in him, but it's time to go back and build that up again at Norths.
And for Billy, a good chance for him to have another go in first grade. He's obviously had a couple of injuries, but it'd be good to see him get a run.
Yeah, he's been here for a while. He's played on wing, right and left, and now he's in the position that he prefers, which is that left centre position with his traits. So it's a good opportunity for him to come back in. He served us well at right centre against Canberra, so it's good for him to come back in and push for that position.
And we saw Nick Scott have a bit of a tour around the SCG, and obviously a little bit of talk about either bringing an NFL game to Australia or potentially a rugby league game over to America. Was that something that you'd like to see?
Yep, if the Ravens can get out here and win an NFL game, I'd be more than happy. But yeah, we're big NFL fans here, and I mean they've taken it to Germany, they've taken it to England multiple times. I think they're Tampa Bay are in Germany this year, I think it is, and Australia. We love our sport, and we're ready for it. So it's great that they're starting that the feelers out here to come and test the waters there. And yeah, wouldn't we love that? But also to export our game. You know, that's we're a great enough sport to expand.
And we've seen Origin obviously go to a couple of different states like Perth for game 2. Do you think maybe an Origin game could be something that could go to America and really grab in the audience?
It could, definitely could. I think it'd have to be done well because it's such an important product for us. NRL's definitely not, but we play 24 games. The State of Origin's 3. It's not a gimmick. It's the most important game, I would say, in the calendar year, you know, for big games and the interest around Australia and New Zealand, and around the rugby league world. I don't mind the opening round, you know, a couple of weeks early. You know, starting the NRL competition is not a bad way to get that started, and you know, whether it's the week before, the weekend off for those teams returning, and then they start round 2 with everybody else. I think that's a great concept.